So we are at our second day of our little 2.5 day session. And you need translator? So today, everybody accomplished some samadhi, right? No?
来法师问，今天是不是大家都取得了一点儿镇定、禅定？
禅通了。
Shifu says, old Mr. Pong from back in China said that cultivation in Chan is very hard. It's like putting 10 baskets of sesame seeds on leaves of a tree and trying to keep them from falling off.
禅修是非常难的，就像那个庞居士说的难，10担芝麻树上摊。
And his wife, Mrs. Pong, says, no, it's not difficult at all. It's just every tip of the branch has the Buddha's mind. It all comes from the West, and it's just not an issue. Chan meditation and cultivation is very easy.
然后那个庞婆呢，就是庞居士的太太就说，不，非常易，百草头上祖师意。
And their daughter said, oh, it's neither easy nor is it hard. When you're tired, you go to sleep, and when you need to get up, you wake up.
然后他们的那个女儿呢就说，也不难也不易，饿了就去吃饭，困了就去睡觉。
So that was the Pong family. They were real characters. They were all enlightened, all three of them, father, the mother, and the daughter.
他们都是开了悟的，而且是他们有非常有个性。父亲、母亲和那个女儿都是开了悟的。
So the father, the old Mr. Pong, he says, I'm going to go off to rebirth now. I'm too old, and it's time for me to enter the stillness. So at noon today, I'm going to sit on the lotus on my meditation cushion, and I'm going to enter the stillness.
那个庞老头就说：“哎呀，我现在很老了，我决定今天中午就圆寂，然后呢，把他的那个垫子搁好，准备好。”
So their daughter says, oh, no, you don't. I'm going to enter stillness first. And she ran up on his cushion, sat in the lotus, and entered stillness.
然后他的女儿就说：“哦，不，我先来，冲进那个房间，坐上他准备好的垫子，立刻烟化。”
So Mr. Pong goes, oh, this daughter of ours, she never follows the rules. She does whatever she wants.
然后庞居士就说：“他女儿是从来不遵循任何的规矩，谁也料不到他。”
So that was an incredible lay family that lived in China years ago. And they used to travel all over the place and teach and transform living beings.
那是那个中国的一个居士家庭，他们非常有名，而且他们到处去弘扬佛法。
Shifu used to allow us to have tea in the afternoon during the long chants. And we had a disciple, her name was Fan Wu, and she stayed at the Gold Mountain Monastery and helped out for many years. Her family, her husband and her both were very wealthy, but she still stayed around and helped. And she would serve honey lemon tea during the chant in the afternoons for us. She'd bring it in and put it on a tray and give it to everybody in the chant hall.
我是说，当时他们在那个金山寺的时候，师父允许他们每天下午喝一点茶。有个居士叫方果悟，他们家里很有钱，但是他呢还是很喜欢到庙上去做工。然后他每天下午就给他们做这个茶和那个柠檬，还有那个蜂蜜混在一起的这种茶，蜂蜜茶，柠檬蜂蜜茶应该叫。
And she's very faithful, and they had a lot of holdings in South Vietnam during the war. Before the war and during the war. They had a lot of money there invested. And Shifu, I think it was in the early 70s, Shifu says, you better get your money out of there because the Vietnam's not going to last much longer. And you're going to lose all your money. And so she believed Shifu, but her husband was a Christian, and he did not want to have anything to do with Shifu and all of her Buddhist views, but she tried to convince her husband to remove their money from Vietnam, but she couldn't prevail upon him to do so. So they lost a big chunk of change when that place fell.
方果悟呢，他非常非常虔诚。他们家呢很有钱，在越南的话，他们有很大的产业在越南。那个时候在70年代的时候，师父就告诉他们，就说那个越南呢即将发生内战，就说你最好是还是把你们家的财产啊、钱啊这些转移出来。方果悟呢，他是非常相信师父的，但是呢，她丈夫不相信，因为她丈夫呢，方果悟是一个虔诚的佛教徒，但她丈夫是一个虔诚的天主教徒，所以他们就磨磨唧唧就没做这个事情。结果最后他们就当越南发生这个内战的时候，他们家损失了很大一部分钱在越南。
Anyway, years later, her husband died, so she invited Shifu to the funeral. And it was a Christian funeral because he was a Christian. But she invited him anyway, so Shifu had us come with him. There was maybe a dozen of us. And to this funeral of Fangu's husband. And so we're sitting there, and the way they do Christian burials, they have a viewing, and they have a casket, and everybody sits, and they have somebody gets up and talks, and that's how it goes on. Fangu was trying her best to hold up under all this, but she's still kind of crying. So Shifu just very gently told her, you don't want to cry, because then all the ghosts will come, and then they just love it when you're crying. They love the yin energy. He says, you want to be strong now and help your husband. And just recite Yitang's name and Amitabha's name for him.
1年多以后，方果悟的那个丈夫就去世了。去世以后呢，方果悟就请了师父去参加他的葬礼。但是呢，那是一个天主教的葬礼，他们完全在按照天主教的那一套仪式，反正又搞又弄的哈，我也听不清楚那些是些什么东西，天主教的那些名词然后呢，虽然方果师父带着了大概10几个弟子一起参加他们的这个葬礼，然后呢，方果悟虽然很坚强，但是这个时候还是忍不住哭了。这个时候师父就跟他说，你不要哭，因为你一哭的话，就是这种阴性的东西就会跑来，鬼这些就会聚到这里来，这样的话就不是帮助你的丈夫。如果你想帮助他呢，你最好送这个阿弥陀佛的符号，还有谁的符号？地藏菩萨的符号和阿弥陀佛的符号，这样才是真正的帮助他。你这个时候要坚强，最好就是说挺起帮助他，千万不要哭，一哭就招来这些阴性的东西，招来鬼。
So anyway, that's a story about Bamboo.
这是一个关于那个方果悟的故事。
We had when we started doing Chan sessions at Gold Mountain, Shifu told us he says it's very beneficial if you want to practice the ascetic practice of sitting up all night. It's not required. People don't have to do it. But he says if you want to try it, everybody who wants to try it can try it. So there was, at that time, I was still a layman. And there was a former Hung Guan, Hung Kong. There was about 4 or 5 months of Hung Ju. And a few others started trying to stay up, sitting up all night. Now we had Chan benches like this one, only they were covered with foam all the way. It was one piece of foam. And then on top of the foam, they had a naga hide. You know what a naga hide is? How do I explain the naga hide? It's not plastic leather. It's like plastic leather. Yeah, it's a plastic stuff you can put over the top. It's like a seat cushion has if you were out on a boat or something. I don't know how to explain naga hide. That's naga hide. Okay, yeah, that's naga hide.
Yeah. 那个说他们那个时候在金山寺那个地方打坐的时候，还不叫金山寺，那个时候叫佛教讲堂，那个地方打坐的时候，师父就说，如果你们能够晚上不睡觉，那就非常的取得很好的帮助，对你们的修行有很大的帮助。然后那个时候呢，来法师说他还是一个居士，当时呢还有那个横空、横观，还有个什么横具OK。
横具、横游、横具、
横游、
三步一拜、横具。
横具，他们都试着这样。那个时候他们那个座跟这个差不多，上面呢就是那个人造格的那个东西在上面放的。
And we had made these Chan benches when they first moved into Gold Mountain. And somebody had got all that foam from someplace. It's high density foam, they call it. This very stiff kind of foam. So you don't sink when you sit on it. It's firm, but it's not too firm. It's not like, this is cork, this is really hard. But the other one was really good for Chan.
然后他们后来搬到金山寺的时候呢，就把这个凳子搬过去了。搬过去了以后呢，有人就拿了那个很密的那种海绵，来法师认为那个很好，因为既不是太硬，也不是太软。这个呢就觉得太硬了一点。那个海绵那个呢，它是那个很dense的、很密的那种海绵，就是说他觉得那个软硬正好，既不会把人沉下去呢，也不会就是太硬顶着，说那个特别好。
So, gosh, I don't know how many were in that hall. There was 20, 30, 40, 50. I can't remember how many we made. A lot of these chant benches. And put them along the wall. And in those days, we didn't face sitting, when we sit in meditation, we didn't face the wall. We faced it inward towards the middle of the hall.
他说那个时候大概有40-50个凳子，然后都放到那些走廊啊这些地方。当时他们禅修的时候呢，不是说对着这个墙，而是对着这个中间，大家都就像现在这种对着中间，不是反过来对着墙。
And in the early 70s, the Buddha Hall had, the wall was brick, made out of brick. And then on top of the brick, we painted, I don't know, Buffon or somebody, they painted cement. They just used cement and just painted it on the bricks to kind of smooth the brick out. So it was all gray cement brick wall. That's what it was. It wasn't even painted white. It was just gray cement.
那个时候在那个金山寺那个佛堂呢，他们那个墙是砖墙，但是呢，他们用那个水泥啊浇上去，把水泥当成油漆这么刷到那个墙上，觉得可以让那个墙没有那么粗糙，甚至不是这种白色的墙，那个水泥的那个颜色，反正区的那种颜色。
So Shifu says, you people who want to try sitting up at night, go ahead and try. He says, I have only one rule. Don't lean on that brick wall like this. Don't go like that. Because, he says, the cold from the wall will go into your spine and cause you to have arthritis, basically.
当时他们那个师父就鼓励大家，就说可以晚上不要回去睡觉，就坐在那儿做。但是呢，有一个非常重要的事情告诉他们，就是你们千万不要去靠着那个墙，因为一旦靠着那个墙的那个凉气啊，会进你的那个脊椎，然后的话最后会得关节炎。
And he also said, if you decide to don't want to sit on the chan bench, you want to sit on the floor, be sure to put down a cushion. Don't sit directly on the cold floor either, for the same reason.
如果说你们说不想坐在禅凳上，想坐在地上，那么也是有一条非常重要的规矩，就是说一定要放上垫子，不能直接坐在那个地上。也是同样的道理，就是地上的寒气的话，也会侵入到人体得病的。
So then he told us a story when he was in Hong Kong and he sat on the rock. He says, I did a really stupid thing when I was younger. He says he sat on a rock, went into samadhi for a very long time. I forget how long. And when he came out, it was like several days or a couple of weeks or something, a really long time. And when he came out of samadhi, he couldn't move his legs, because he'd been sitting directly on a rock. He didn't even have a cushion or anything. And even though it was in Hong Kong, it's not that cold there. Even so, the coldness from the rock still penetrated his bones, he said. And he was never able to walk properly after that.
师父说，因为他当时在香港的时候非常年轻，他说当时做了一件很蠢的事情，就是他曾经直接的坐在这个石头上，然后入定了，也不知道入定了多少天。等他出定以后吧，尽管香港还不是特别冷，但是那个石头的寒气全部都侵入到师父的那个腿上。从此以后，师父走路再也不能像他过去正常情况下那种走路一样。
He says it took him a complete day at least to try to just to get his legs out of the lotus, just to move them out. It was that bad.
他说花了一整天的时间，慢慢把腿从这个双盘拿下来，花了一天的时间，就是完全当时腿已经就是说僵在那个地方了，不能动了。
But he says it's because we were young. I think back then I was like 23 or something. Shifu says, you guys can take it. You can try out sitting up at night, Dharma, ascetic practice. And it's very good for your cultivation. And it keeps your chi right, especially if you can stay in the lotus when you're sleeping. And he says, you'll have a lot of problems at first, but if you can do it, it really is auspicious practice.
说那个师父说非常鼓励他们，当时因为来法师他们都才20多岁，非常年轻，就说你们非常年轻，这个时候的话如果能够晚上不睡觉这么做，打着那个双盘的话，非常的就是说好，对你们的修炼非常好，因为有气，这个气他说气正确了，就会进步非常快。
So a lot of us would just stay in the Buddha hall all night instead of going to our rooms. And then the old Gold Mountain had 3 stories. Yeah, the third floor, the men slept up there, and Shifu had a room there. Then the second floor, the women. We actually had the men and the women living in the same building, and the women stayed on the second floor. And the men and the women didn't really want to practice that. As I remember right, our bhikshunis, they weren't too keen on that practice, so they never did stay down there. Tried to stay in. I think a couple of them told us that they tried it up in their rooms, but they didn't want to stay in the hall. So
那时候来法师他们很多人晚上都做这个不捣蛋不睡觉。他说当时呢他们有3层楼，第3层呢是他们男众和师父，然后第2层呢是女众，然后他记得好像没有什么比丘尼去尝试不捣蛋，在这个禅堂。他说但是呢后来他听几个比丘尼说他们在自己的宿舍里头晚上练不捣蛋。
So we tried it, and everybody had different experience. I fell off the bench a couple of times on the floor. And then former Hung Zo, in the middle of the night, had a dream, and he started singing "I'm Really Lucky." And that was pretty funny. So I was sitting there, and he's singing "I'm Really Lucky." He's wake him up, and he goes, "Oh, I was having a dream."
来法师说他当时有几次摔下来了。You fall down from the bench to the ground. 来法师有几次倒下来了，然后还有另外一个人很左，然后呢，居然有一天唱起歌来了。说我非常幸运那首歌，然后大家把他们摇醒，他说我在梦中呢。
And I had a really crazy dream one night. It was a very weird dream, and it's so weird I had to tell Shifu about it. But I had we were asleep, and I was talking to former Hung Guan, and I said, "Hey, let's try dying, see what that's like. Let's just stop our hearts." And go. So what happened in this dream, I told Shifu about it later. And then it got really scary in the dream. I said, oh, we better stop. This is getting really very dangerous. I don't think I want to go keep doing this. And then I told Shifu about that. He says, yeah. He says, you're getting close to birth and death. The matters of birth and death, you're getting close to them.
来法师有一天晚上，他说他做了一个非常奇怪的梦，梦见呢，他对那个恒观法师说：“哎，我们去试验一下死亡是什么感觉。”然后他就后来觉得这个梦他有点恐惧，觉得这个梦，然后就去问师父。师父说：“哎呦，你现在有没有很接近这个死亡点了？”所以说，也就是很快要了生死了。It means you are ready to ending the birth and death?
No, I'm not ready. But he says you're starting to get close to understanding the nature of birth and death.
Okay. 那意思就是说，你们 快认识到这种死亡生和死的意义了，就快接近 understand 快接近理解什么是生和死了。That's still quite a lucky dream.
Yeah, we had a lot of very clear dreams when you sit up at night. And your legs, we were able to stay in the lotus late at night. I was able to anyway. Because by then you're so tired, your body stops fighting you. And it relaxes. It just wants to sleep. So all the muscles in your legs relax and you finally just, I can stay in the lotus comfortably. There's no pain. It all goes. So that was really, really great.
那他是说他那个当时他们晚上的时候，双盘哈，就是这个莲花座打的这个莲花座，越来越舒服，到了后来非常舒服，但是非常舒适的时候呢，他就想睡觉了，那时候就想睡觉，就困了，就睡着了，这种过程。
And but we still, we still do normal ceremonies, get up for zakka and do all that.
但是他们还是做这种平常的这些，就是说仪式。Do you walking also at midnight or something? Walking meditation, just to sit down, not walking.
No. It depends if you're doing a chan or if you're just doing even we still practice sitting up at night even during regular days. But during the chan session, we went up to midnight and then they just hit the fish and everybody. Some people go up to their rooms, other people stay in the Buddha hall, and they just sleep until I think it was 3 or 3:30 or something. Then they hit the boards again. And And during the normal days without Chan, it was the same kind of thing. We listened to Shifu's lecture. Shifu used to lecture 3 times a day in those days. He'd lecture after lunch, he'd lecture in the evening, he'd lecture in the afternoon sometimes. Or sometimes he'd lecture in the morning before lunch. So it was, he was pretty intense.
那个时候他们那个时候还是就是说平常的话，他们虽然晚上不捣蛋，但是他们白天的话，如果是别的那些仪式，他们还是照样参加，别的 ceremony 他们还是参加，只是晚上不捣蛋。但是呢，如果是禅呢，如果是白天的仪式也是禅修的话，那么的话，很多人就是说，到了晚上他们回去睡觉，然后他们还继续留在禅堂，但是3点钟的时候木鱼一敲，那些人又出来又开始打坐。他说那个时候师父呢，每天给他们3次的开示，早晨、中午、晚上。
I had a lot of trouble listening to lectures because the master would talk really dynamically, in Chinese, of course. And then we'd have translators. Well, our translators were still learning how to translate. A lot of them didn't know Mandarin very well. Or we'd have somebody who was a Mandarin speaker but didn't know English very well. It's either one of those 2 cases. So when they did the translation, it was always very stilted, very stiff, and lose all the energy that Shifu had when he spoke it. Like if he was talking about 6 Patriarch Sutra or whatever it was, you could tell he was really into it. I mean, he was really dynamically explaining what's going on and very strong. But of course, the translator was trying to stumble through what he was saying. So they're going, blah, 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 And I just go, I can barely stay awake through that. So I kept falling asleep and nodding off. And so I eventually had to just stand up during lectures. So I tried just, just stand up. I just stand in the back of the Buddha hall and stand up so I wouldn't fall asleep.
那个时候师父讲法的时候呢，师父讲的非常好，而且的话就是说，dynamic 怎么翻译啊？我心里知道深度，对，就是他非常讲的非常有深度，也很深刻。但是呢，翻译那个时候才开始学，他们才开始学翻译。有些人呢英文很好，但是中文也不行；有些人中文很好，英文也不行。所以翻译的呢就结结巴巴的，反正完全不能把师父的那个 讲的那些意思啊，很传神的把它翻译出来。所以来法师他能感觉到师父讲的那个东西非常深刻，非常宏大，但是翻译出来就不行。来法师说他经常就想睡觉，然后就没办法，就为了克服自己不要睡着了，就站到最后面去站着听师父讲法。
And I felt really bad because I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to learn Chinese. Everybody else was learning it. All of our monks and nuns, all the Westerners, they're all learning it. At least they're learning the basic Mandarin. But I couldn't do it. I tried to do it, and I had this kind of block, what do you call it? Karmic obstruction with Chinese. I just couldn't get it. They tell you, oh, this is the third tone, fourth tone, first tone. I said, it's all the same sound. I couldn't get through it. And Sherpa used to laugh and say, why are you doing this? Why are you having so much trouble? You used to be Chinese last life. Stupid.
然后说那个时候大家都学中文，而且很积极学这个普通话哈 Mandarin 哈。然后说我不知道什么，反正脑袋里面有个地方被这个罩住了，怎么学都学不会的时候啊，真是很蠢。他师父就说怎么回事啊？你潜意识还是个中国人，怎么这事一点都学不会中文？哪怕是觉得在他看来，什么一生、二生、三生、四生都是一样的。
And we had lay people would bring their families. They'd have their kids and their babies and everything. They would be crawling around the Buddha hall during Shifu's lectures. And Shifu was just, no, everything was zudzai, everything was fine. He continued the lecture, and which is unheard of in China. I mean, they would never do that. But it was like we had, I remember Sari, she was Anand, and she was very young. That was Ron Epstein's daughter. And she was just a baby. She was running around in her diapers. And then Guofang, she was about the same age, and they were running around. She would run around in her little diapers, and they were running around the Buddha hall while Shifu was lecturing and laughing. And then they climb up on where Shifu was sitting in the high seat, and they climb up into his lap. And he used to hang them upside down, and they'd start giggling and laughing, and they continue lecturing. That's how the lectures were back then.
那个时候讲师父讲法的时候呢，有很多那个中国的那个就是居士家庭就把那自己的小孩子带到那个禅堂去，就什么果方啊这些，那个时候还穿着那个料布，就在就在那个讲堂里头跑来跑去，甚至有时候爬到那个师父的那个椅子上去，然后师父又把他们拽下来，然后吊着哎呀，这些小孩高兴得不得了，然后把他们放下继续讲，反正师父觉得怎么都可以，很自在。他这个在中国好像还不行，他觉得在他们这里可以。
And so that went on like that, and it reminded me of the time when we had people would come, they'd come to Shifu and stuff during the holidays and what have you. And they'd bring their little newborns, their little babies. They'd only be a month or so old or even younger than that. And they'd bring them so Shifu would bless them. They always want to bring their shawhaitzes, so, And Shifu, and I always noticed when they bring up a little baby like that, the little baby would look up at Shifu like that and try to reach like that. And after a while, it dawned on me what's going on. They're actually, Shifu always says when you're very small, when you're very young, when you're first born, you don't have a lot of obstructions in terms of your psychic obstructions. Your mind hasn't closed down yet. You're very open, and everything is unfiltered, comes right into you. And they're obviously looking at it as golden aura. They see it, and they're trying to grab it. And we don't see it, but they see it. And it's always amazing. You can see it. I saw it time and time again. And these really young little kids, they come in, and the mother would bring them up close to the Shifu. That was pretty amazing.
那时候有很多家庭呢，他们刚刚有了小孩，大概还不到1个月呀，或者1个月的时候，他们就抱到佛教讲堂，抱到师父那儿去，希望得到师父的祝福。师父呢，当然永远都是为小孩子加持他们，加倍他们。这个时候来法师就发现了一个现象，而且观察到很多次这种现象，就是小孩子一看到师父的时候，那个眼睛一下就放大，然后就用手去抓。然后呢，那个来法师就说，那个师父说的，那个小孩刚刚生下来的时候吧，脑袋里边没有被很多东西障碍住，那么他的那个思想是打开的呢，他就能够看到光啊，这些他们就能看到光。他说他能看到师父那个带着那个光圈啊，所以他们小孩子他就觉得很好看，他就去抓。来法师说他看过很多次，都是同样的这种现象。
Yeah, it reminds me of the master used to tell us that one time he told me that, because we were sitting there collecting red envelopes. We were sitting there, after, it was one of these big ceremonies, I forget where we were. Then people would come up and bow and give him a red envelope and go on. Mm-hmm. And he would talk to him a little bit. And then he said, when I see a new person, I don't look at anything, whether they're a man or a woman or a child. He says, I just look right at their Buddha nature and see what's obstructing that Buddha nature and try to help them that way. He says, I don't look at anything else. I don't know. I don't even pay attention how they look or how big they are, how small they are, whether they're man or woman. He just doesn't make that discrimination. He says, just focus right on their true nature.
那个时候呢，很多人都到师父那儿去啊，去的时候就是说，来法师们在旁边就收集那个红包，然后师父就告诉来法师他们就说，师父看这些人看这些小孩或者大人，他不管他是男是女是老是少，他看他们的佛性，而且看是什么东西障碍了他们不能够去接近他们的那个佛性，然后呢怎么去帮助他们，看离他们的佛性有多远，帮助他们，看是什么障碍住了，让他们自己不能找到他们的佛性，从而帮助他们。That's really great.
Yeah, he's like that, not only with humans, but he's that with all living beings. Because every morning he'd call and say, you have time? I said, yes, sure. I need to have a ride. I'll come pick you up. So I'd go pick the abbot up. He was out in the avenues. And I tell him, Shifu, we have a couple of more mice we caught last night. He says, okay, bring the mice. So I bring the mice and go pick up Shifu and out in the avenues, driving back to Gold Mountain. But we always had to go through Golden Gate Park when we did that. So we'd stop. And she would say, oh, this is a good spot here. We'll stop. And we stop. And then it's okay, you can let the mice out. And we have these little traps. You open the door. The mice run out. And then Shifu would just recite for them as they're going out the thing. So he was like that with everywhere we go. Every time we'd see a living being of any kind, he'd just recite for it.
师父不仅是眷顾这个人这个人类这些就是刚才说到的这些人，他对这个所有的这个生命都有这种眷顾。比如说有一次那个来法师，那个师父跟来法师说，你来接我，去哪儿？然后来法师说，师父我昨天抓了几只老鼠。师父说没关系，带上。 带上了，把师傅接了，然后他们正好要路过那个金门大桥，走到有一个地点，师傅说这个地方停，这个地方挺好的，停下来以后，来法师就把那个因为捉老鼠的那个 mouse track， 他就把那个小门一打开，那些老鼠就出去了，师傅就指着他们度化他们，然后让他们走。
Were you guys there during the donkey times? When we got the donkeys?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that one. It was former Hungung, I think, was up there, and Michael Owen.
Maybe he was. I don't remember Michael being there, but Hung was the one who was trying to get them to
come down, and then we were having a releasing life ceremony, and Master is the Wanfachan. So Surf was down by the Buddha Hall, out in the back. We were going to do it behind the Buddha Hall, and so I think he told Hungung and others, bring the donkey down.
Yeah, I think donkeys were up by the
firehouse. Or firehouse, yeah, okay.
That's what I remember.
And Hungung, he's trying to drag the donkey. The donkey didn't want to come. Donkeys, how a donkey can be, they're very stubborn. So this one want to go. So he's trying to get the donkey to come down so Shifu could do the releasing life ceremony for it. Because we'd got these donkeys. The background is we got these donkeys from the government. The government had to save the donkey program. They had a bunch of wild donkeys they were trying to get out of, I think, Arizona or someplace. And they were given away to people. And so we contacted them and they said, how many do you want? I said, well, I don't know, maybe 5. And but we said, they have to be of one sex. They can't be mixed because we don't want them to make more donkeys. just one set of donkeys. So they said, yeah, no problem. So they showed up a few weeks later with this big old trailer full of these donkeys. So they let them out and we put them in the back. And it turns out one of the donkeys was a male. The rest were female. Milton the donkey. So we had to call, it's called culling. We had to take Milton out of the herd and send him over to the Walnut Ranch. That's where Milton lived. He lived at the Walnut Ranch. He couldn't stay with the girls. We wouldn't let him stay with the other donkeys.
他们有一次放生呢，那个举行仪式在万福城呢，结果这个时候就有一些骡子哈，当地是骡子是驴啊，驴有驴，然后这个 donkey 是那个什么呢？是那个 government 他们的一个 program， 就说他们抓了很多那个野生的，就把它分给大家，然后呢，万福城就打电话说我们可以要几只来，但是呢必须是同一个性别的，不能让他们。就是说不同的性别到时候又产生更多的这个驴出来就麻烦了。结果一个卡车运过来以后，有4只那个雄的，1只雌的，所以4只1只男的4只母的，1只那个公的，结果最后还得把它们分开，就是说把那个公的放到那个 walnuts 那个地方，他们有个万福城旁边有个核桃园，往那儿放。
Okay, so anyway, we got these donkeys, and then we were going to have a releasing life ceremony for him. And former Hungung, he couldn't get the donkey to come down the hill. So finally, I think Triple sent somebody up there to say, what's going on? And they said, he's just too stubborn. He doesn't want to come. Or she, I guess it was she, doesn't want to come down. And so Shifu, he had to come up there, right? He went up to the firehouse or unicorn house where the donkey was. And he scolded the donkey. He says, life after life, you doing this, and you never follow the rules. And look at you now, you're still just a donkey. And so the donkey started crying. And then he followed Shifu back down He didn't fight anybody. He just followed Shifu. Shifu walked back down to the Buddha hall, back down to behind the Buddha hall where the release size, and there comes the donkey behind Shifu.
这个故事很惊人的。然后那几头驴呢，下了车以后，他们就一跑就跑到一个什么，就是说一个消防站，他们万佛城一个消防站那个房子那个地方。然后那个东西非常的固执，就在那儿不走了。他们又打又拉又掐的，怎么那个驴他就发那个倔脾气一发，就一点不动了。结果这个时候师父正在那个万佛城那个大殿等着举行仪式，结果他们就跑去告诉师父，就说没办法，这个驴不走不动，没办法把他赶到这里来参加仪式。然后师父就出去了，师父就过去以后就大声的责骂这几只驴子，就说多生多世啊，你们就这样不守规矩，所以到现在你们还是一头驴，还是驴哈。你看，结果那个驴啊，一听师父这么说就哭了，然后就跟着师父就往前去那个大殿，那几头驴老老实实的跟在师父后面就去了。快点，你看师父。
Have you guys ever heard the one that happened at Waverly Place when they went to get the pigeons? I don't know who was involved with it. It was Hung Shou or Hung Ju. No, it wasn't Hung Ju. He was too early for him. Somebody, or it was a couple of lame, I don't know, but they were sent to go pick up the pigeons in a car. So they went to pick up the pigeons for a releasing life ceremony in Waverly Place. This was before Gold Mountain. And so on the way there, they went and got the pigeons, that's right. They went and got the pigeons, put them in the trunk of the car, started driving back, and got this idea that they'd like to have root beer float. It was a hot day. And the root beer float looked really good. A&W root beer was right there on the highway. Just pull over and have one. It'd be nice. So they pulled over to get their root beer float. And so then they continued on back to Waverly Place with the pigeons. Well, when they opened up the trunk, some of the pigeons had died because it was so hot. And they dawdled with their time getting back there. A couple of pigeons had passed away from the heat. So they brought them upstairs and they were all upset. Oh, sure, we made a mistake. What do we do? These pigeons died. I don't know what to do. And she goes, why don't you eat them?
那个还有一次他们那个做这个放生呢，就是去买一些鸽子放生，结果呢他们去买了以后就把那个鸽子放在那个后面那个trunk里头，然后因为那天很热嘛，这几个人就说我们得去买一箱那个 root beer， 是一种饮料哈，这喝起来很爽的，觉得在路上喝得很爽，他们很高兴啊，就去买，就把车门一关就去买这个 root beer， 就这种饮料。结果呢，那天天气实在太热了，等他们回来的时候一打开trunk一看，好几只鸽子已经死了，热死了，在那个trunk里面。这几个弟子回到旧金山就很害怕呀，就跟师父说不知道怎么办啊，我们今天在路上有几只鸽子给热死了。师父就说你们怎么不把它吃了？人
So they learn not to be greedy for things like that. But it was might be other stories, like I don't know if it goes, well, when we first got Gold Mountain, it was just an old mattress factory. It had all these feathers and stuff in it. It took a long time to clean the place out. It was really dirty. And we started doing our own remodeling. We put our own rooms in. We didn't know anything. I don't think we had any professionals helping us at that time. It was just kind of hit or miss. Gufa was learning the trade, so he was going to learn how to be a contractor. But most of us didn't know much about carpentry or anything. So everybody's just kind of slamming things together, putting up these walls. Instead of using 2x4s, they're using 2x2s and all this kind of nutty stuff. It's going to be mama boo. Anyway, the monks there, the Hung Jing, Hung Zhou, and Hung Jian, the other guys, they're all kind of leading the remodeling. And they ran out of nails. So I think they sent Hung Bai, one of the shamis. They sent him, okay, you got to go buy some nails. We can't keep working. So go buy some nails. So meanwhile, they said, oh, this is a good time to take a tea break. So they all got the teapot going, and they're just sitting around talking and having a good time. And Shifu shows up. He said, what doing? I said, well, Shifu, we're waiting for the nails. Oh, you're waiting for nails? He said, yeah, we have to wait for nails because we ran out of nails. Oh, so there's nothing else to do here. We just all sit down and wait for nails. Why don't we just wait for us to die? We can end birth and death. Let's just do that. So he went on and on and on. He says, well, you could have found something else to do. Why are you going around just sitting here having tea? You should be working. Well, what are you doing? You could be doing other things.
是还有一次就是他们那个刚刚买下那个旧金山那个金山寺的时候，因为当时那个金山寺是一个生产这个垫子床垫的这么一个工厂，里面很多那些鹅毛什么毛毛啊这些东西在里头，他们花了很长时间把那个地方清干净，然后这个时候就有几个法师恒寿还有什么几个人就他们作为这个主力，要把这个重新把这个结构啊这些改一改，重新装修。有一天呢，他们那个正在干活的时候就没有那个钉子了，结果他们就拆一个小沙弥出去买钉子，然后这几个人就开始坐下来，哎呀，没事干了，觉得砍大山，砍得很开心的时候，这个时候师父突然出现了。师父说：“你们在干什么呢？”说：“我们因为现在正在干活，但是没有钉子了，我们在等钉子。”师父说：“哎呀，等钉子啊！你们怎么没有去等生死啊？等死还是等生死？反正就是说你们难道干这件事情，除了那个等钉子，你们就不能干别的事儿吗？”
Yeah, he's always teaching us. Then it was when they first started moving in that people would actually work around the clock. They would just keep going. They'd clean out this place and clean out that and take it to the dumpster and do that. They just work all night long. And then they'd stop for morning recitation and then keep working. It was incredible. He had all that energy. He just kept going and going and going.
You mean 师父 or disciple?
Everybody. He had everybody going.
Oh, okay.
They didn't think they could do it, but he showed them they could do it. If he could do it, they can do it.
Okay. 那时候他们刚刚搬进金山寺的时候，人都是每天24小时这么干活，早晨干到晚上，第二天早晨做完早课又开始继续干，人都如此。就是说他能够一直 keep 这种 energy， 这种干劲去干这些活。
So I just told some stories.
就现在给大家讲的这些故事。
If anybody has questions, they can ask questions.
还有没有问题
？Yes.
Okay.
我想请问的是，这个打坐啊，3天是很短的。那如果3个礼拜了，那一天比一天像一天做比一天痛，那怎么做下去呢？他怎么克服他这个痛？
He says 3-day meditation is very short, but it's still painful when sit down. How about 3 weeks? How can keep up? Reduce the pain.
Well, 3 days may seem short, but it also could be very long. It's not a matter of 3 days or 3 months, but we typically do Chan sessions in those days for about 3 weeks. Typically, every winter we do a 3-week Chan. We lead up to them first. We do either a Guanyin session or an Amitabha session first before we do the Chan. So we always have a recitation session before the Chan session to kind of tone us up for the Chan, in a sense. To get people used to, just used to getting ready to do the Chan session. But the pain in the legs thing, everybody had. Everybody has the pain in the legs problem. And everybody overcame them different ways.
他说，过去他们打坐，禅修是一般3个星期，但是在3个星期之前呢，他们一般有2个星期的那个观音期啊，阿弥陀佛，弥陀期，然后打完那个以后呢，开始禅坐。他说，这其实3天也许也可能很长，也可能很短，3天。他这个腿痛啊，人人都有，而且这是人人都需要克服的。
那这个麻跟痛不一样啊。麻的时候，麻到没感觉的时候，可不可以换腿？换腿的时候
limp. She
Yeah,
feel
lamp
and pain is different. When the leg got lamps, is necessary to change the leg, the posture of the leg.
Well, you sit in the full lotus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people, you can put your left foot on your, let's see, left, this is left. Okay, you put it on your right thigh, and then you put your right foot on your left thigh. Or some people like to put their right foot on their left thigh first and put their left foot on the right side second. And the master says you can do it either way. It's all legal. It's legal full lotus. It's not fixed. It's the old days it was right, left, right, but it really doesn't matter.
Is there any limitation on how many times you change per section?
Well, ideally you don't change. You just, when you sit in Chan, you just sit in Chan. So, like Hung Lu, he can just pick his legs right up and put them in a full lotus without touching them. I can't do that. That's really good.
Yeah, so
He sat so much that he's got it so he can just go full lotus like a yoga. He just goes, he doesn't even touch his feet.
我翻译一下 ，Let me translate. 他说 ，full lotus 就是说双盘，不管你左腿在上面还是右腿在上面，都一样的。然后他就问了一句，他说我想在中途的时候换腿行不行？来法说一般不应该是换腿的，你要么是左在上右在下，要么右在上左在下，不换腿的。他说以前有一个法师，他根本不需要动手就可以，就是说不用动手掰这个腿就可以让他自己就。
可是痛到极点就做不下去了，心乱了，那怎么办？
She asked, say, extremely pain sometimes really cannot stand with. How should she do it?
Well, the master always told everybody, try your best. And it becomes so incredible you can't take it, then you go to the half lotus, etc. And if you have any kind of problems, like some sort of physical defect, like, you have a problem with your bones or some kind of medical issue, obviously he did not encourage people to sit in the lotus then because they can't, they want to hurt themselves. But he always encouraged us. He used to tell us, when you don't think you can stand the pain anymore, count to 10 very slowly before going to half lotus. He really pushed us. But I found for me to train your legs to be in the lotus, it takes a while because your legs need to get trained that way. And so I, like for instance, when I'm sitting at a desk working, I don't like to sit in a chair. Chairs are the most uncomfortable thing, like that kind of chair. I use a chan bench. Just make a small, like we're sitting out, those kind of, just a small chan bench. Like upstairs, I just have a chan bench to sit at the desk. So that I'll naturally go into the lotus when I'm working. I don't think it's too painful to put my feet down, but at least so the legs get used to it. They say, oh, okay, it's no big deal. After a while, you just naturally sit that way. But if you have like a Western chair all the time, you're working out of, it's really hard for me. I can't sit in the lotus on a normal chair. A lot of times when you go to these way places, they want you to give a lecture or something, they give you a chair. I hate that. Give me a little chan bench to sit on, or just a cushion. I'd rather do that, than sit in the chair. Unless it's a really big chair like Shifu would lecture from, like a high seat. Like if you ever look at the high seat at Wanfucheng, it's very big, it's really wide, so you can sit in a full lotus on it. Very, just right. Your legs aren't going to hit the sides. And that's a classic high seat because for centuries, that's how all Dharma Masters would lecture. They get up on the high seat and they go in the full lotus and lecture. So the high seats these seats were very specially made. These were actual chairs, but they were very wide, so you can actually sit in full lotus. Of course, I got really tall, so my knees stick way out. But they, I find that to be the most helpful for me when I'm just working daily. If you're sitting somewhere, I prefer to sit on a chan bench than a chair. That's just for a few minutes or something.
这个很长啊，我看能不能全部记下来。来法师说，他说实在是痛的没办法，他说但是如果是他说尽量坚持，他说当时师父就鼓励他们尽量坚持，就是你实在忍无可忍的时候，你还可以练1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10，然后再把腿单盘。他说如果你没有腿没有任何的就是毛病的话，他说还是尽量坚持很多。平常呢，来法说他自己比如他的 office， 他就还是喜欢用那个禅凳放在那里，他很讨厌坐那种 office 那种椅子，他觉得那个椅子不能让他盘一盘腿，他觉得不舒服，放下来。所以以前师父那个椅子就很宽，那么师父随时都可以双盘。他说他最出去有时候给大家有时候开示这些，他最讨厌的就是一个窄的凳子放在那里，坐上去腿不能动弹，他情愿坐在地上，哪怕有一个垫子，然后可以盘腿，比较舒服一点。